Here's Donald Trump becoming the first president in history to be asked seriously if he is going to attack Iran with nuclear weapons.
There are many options, as you know, Phil. There are many options, and there's the ultimate option, and there are options a lot less than that, and we'll see. We're in a very powerful position. Right now, we're in a very, very powerful position.
You say the ultimate option? Are you talking
No, I'm saying the ultimate option, meaning go in war. No, I'm not talking about that ultimate option, no.
Ben Rhodes and Nicholas Kristof are back with us. So, Ben, he has ruled out nuclear war.
I sleep a tiny bit better
at least for today,
night, Lawrence. Yeah, I mean, but look, this whole thing is, why are we even talking about whether we'd go to war on behalf of an attack on Saudi Arabia's oil infrastructure? And the only reason that he seems to care so much about it is, as he said, the Saudis pay cash. and we also know that they paid a lot of cash into Trump properties. It would be madness to go to war with Iran right now and set the entire Middle East on fire. It would be totally unnecessary. He has created this crisis by pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal, piling on sanctions, threat after threat, giving the Saudis a blank check for their war in Yemen, which is causing a famine of catastrophic proportions. And here we are, and he doesn't have any answers. All he has is bombastic language and threats like that. Meanwhile, the actual problem is getting worse. Iran is resuming its nuclear weapons, potential nuclear weapons capability. Iran is being much more emboldened in the region. All the things he said wouldn't happen if he pulled out of the Iran deal have now happened, and he doesn't know what to do about it.
Nick, your reaction to the president's handling of the situation so far?
Well, there is indeed a real problem with violation of the nuclear accord, with attacking shipping, et cetera. But this is, as Ben suggests, a problem that the president created by leaving the nuclear accord. And my fear is that, we are already in bed with Saudi Arabia. Look, Saudi Arabia has fighter planes. They have their aircraft. If they want to strike something, they've been attacked by Iran. They can do it, but we should not be. This is not our fight, and we should not be. It's almost a year since they murdered my friend Jamal Khashoggi, and I don't want American troops at risk for the regime that murdered and dismembered a Washington Post columnist.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on the button below for more from The Last Word and the rest of MSNBC.